All right. It looks like this thing is working. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. I am just going to wait for Celeste to show up and then we are going to get things going. And Celeste is here. Okay, Celeste, let's get you on. Whoops. No, we are not bringing that person on. Celeste, can you send me a request to get on here? Because I have someone else making a request and I need to get you on here. Let me see if I can make this work here. Hey, yogis around the world. Okay. Let's see if I can make this work. Okay, that's not doing it. Let's see. There we are. Hey, hey, Ron Stone. I just saw you coming in. Chelly Ellis. All right. Celeste, I just approved it, so
Hi,
yay!
Teresa. How are you
Hello.
feeling?
Oh my God, better day by day, minute by minute. I'm starting to feel like a human again. Oh my God, it's been awful.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear you are struggling with an illness, but it's so good to see you.
It's so
You are,
good to see you.
yes, you are such a bright light.
Well, you are too, and I did not want to miss this, so I'm glad that I'm well enough that you and I get to hang together. So for everybody who's tuning in, it took me a minute to get this all set up. Welcome to How to Navigate Eclipse season. I am bringing on my friend Celeste Brooks. Celeste is an amazing astrologer. She's a teacher. She is somebody who knows the moon and eclipses inside and out. There's nobody better to talk about this with to talk about eclipses with than Celeste. So Celeste, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk with you about this eclipse season. It's one for the ages, I feel like.
Yeah, that's probably a very nice way of saying it. It's going to be a little bit of a hot mess, is what I think. So, for people who are tuning in, I also want to remind you to follow Celeste at Astrology by Celeste. So make sure you give her a follow. So that way you can keep up to date to all kinds of astrology happenings. And also, she's over on Threads posting things too. So make sure you're following her over there as well. So, Celeste. What is an eclipse? Can you just explain that for folks who are new to anything astrology wise?
Yes. So eclipses are intensified new and full moons, where at a solar eclipse, the sun, the moon, and the earth are all lined up in a straight line. And the moon moves between, this is a solar, the moon moves between the sun and the earth, essentially like cutting off the communication of the light, changing the channel. And I like to describe it as we walk through a door and we turn around and there's a wall, because they pull us forward into new parts of our lives. Sometimes people are raised up, sometimes people are knocked down. It's like, yeah, people leave your life, people come into your life, you get the big new job, you move across the country. I mean, when your chart is activated, there can be big changes in your life at the start, the new moon of the solar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when the earth is between the moon and the sun, cutting off the light. And with lunar eclipses, things come to our full attention. It's the full illumination. It's the climax of the cycle. So really pay attention to what is coming in and your conscious awareness. And it can be about other people, your relationships. It's a Libra, which is about I partner. And yeah, so there's so much that's going to be coming up for people.
And of course,
Mm-hmm.
right as you're talking about this, we have all this drama going on outside my window. There's also something happening in my neighborhood. So, y'all, that was not special effects to like amplify the dramatic nature of these eclipses. So, I just want you to know there's just something going on. There's always something going on around
Yeah.
here. Yeah, eclipses are, they are intense. Somebody once said they're like full moons and new moons on steroids. Now, I don't know who
Mm-hmm.
came up with that, but I think that is an incredibly accurate viewpoint of what eclipses are like. And I find things are more intense around an eclipse. Do you feel that too, or do you think that's our imagination?
Oh no, it's always more intense because the news starts going crazy in relationship to the signs of the eclipse. And this one's especially intense because it's Aries and Libra. And Aries rules conflict, and Libra rules, peace and harmony and that sort of thing. And the South node's in Libra. So there's this
Hmm.
like clearing out of going along to get along, some, like the tactfulness, the diplomacy we see on the world stage, like the difficulties in trying to negotiate peace. Yeah,
Yeah.
outside of ourselves and in some places within ourselves as well. I'm being activated and I'm going through all kinds of internal upheaval, but I think it's like for my higher good.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I find with eclipses oftentimes, like you said, they draw attention to things or they eclipse things or situations in or out of your life.
Sure.
And I always find that even if I don't like what's going on, there's always like later on I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that needed to happen for X, Y, Z reason. So there always seems to be like a takeaway later where I'm glad it happened, even though I'm not liking it at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. It's like yeah, they can be, yeah, like you said, when you look back and you realize it was for your highest good, that relationship was no longer serving you, or that thing was needed to go, or you needed to experience that difficulty, like the serendipity of
Yes.
sometimes life leads us into a little bit of a difficult situation, but it's for our highest good. Hmm.
So you mentioned already that this one is on the Aries Libra axis, and like you mentioned, Aries is conflict, and Libra has a lot to do with peace. What are some of the other themes of Aries and Libra?
Yeah, so Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's a sign of I am. And high road Aries energy is like excited and joyful. It's pioneering, able to take risks. The Astrology podcast had, oh, I forget her name, but she talked about, there's a woman who wrote a book about deshaming the the signs, and she talked about Aries having the audacity to move forward to it without really knowing the destination, to having that inner courage and that drive to take risks. The fool in the tarot card is what I feel like high road Aries energy can be. And then, but the shadows are um,
Yep.
impulsivity, conflict, aggression, violence, tactlessness kind of stuff. Just blurting things out. Yeah. And then Libra, its opposing sign is about I partner. And high road Libra. Libra is a humane sign. All the air signs are humane, and they're about connection with others. They're about air wants to communicate and connect. And Libra is the most elegant of the air signs. It's like the person who always looks completely put together and never a hair out of place and perfect. We're seeing this with what's going on with poor Kate Middleton with her, like, her perfect image has been cracked with the scandal over there. But that's like Grace Kelly, her, these are the themes that are coming to me with Libra. Now, the shadows of this is being so concerned with outer appearances, how we look, that we are not our authentic selves, that we just go along to get along, that we're people pleasing, that we're so
Hmm.
worried about what other people will think of us. We hold ourselves back from being our authentic, empowered selves, which is what Aries wants. So it's like finding that balance between the two is kind of the work of this eclipse season.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too with this Aries Libra thing is we have to like figure out how can I be an individual and still be in partnership and harmony with other people, not just our relationships, but our relationship with the world at large too.
Mm.
So energy, there's going to be energies around aggression, like you mentioned, and again, the need to be the individual as well as the need to get along. I think these are themes that might be coming up for folks in their interpersonal relationships or just in the way they're dealing with the world. What do you think about that?
I think that's brilliant. Yes, that's exactly and it's like in your interpersonal relationships, you out in the collective with strangers. within your own self too, that everyone has all 12 signs in their chart, whether you
Yep.
have planets there or not. So yeah, I think this is a big message about that.
I
And we're
think
going to
another.
be seeing, oh,
No,
sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear what you're saying. Keep
Yeah,
going.
we're going to be seeing this amplification of aggression.
Hmm.
And it's up to us to consider, how do we want to interact with that? Do we want to jump in and amplify the aggression? Do we want to figure out how we can be a representative of being more peaceful and harmonious and trying to see both sides of an issue rather than just, it's this way? That's the beauty of Libra, which it gets criticized for. It really does have the ability to see both sides of the issue. Sometimes it's accused, people with Libra energy are accused of being two-faced or non-committal or indecisive, but it's not that. It's the ability
Right.
to see it. Hmm.
Right. You know, the other thing about Libra, a theme is going to be justice. What things about justice, might we see with this eclipse? Will we see justice, or, I mean, what do you think about that? That's been on my mind a little.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I'd written down was that a billionaire has big problems, and so the Jupiter Uranus conjunction is also happening. It's exact on April 20th, and I don't know if it's okay to say something a little political. You
Go
tell
ahead.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
no, let it rip.
what we're seeing with Donald Trump, like today, tomorrow is a first quarter moon in Gemini, and he's a Gemini, and the Georgia trial's going forward. And there was something else announced. So, like, I think he's one of these because Jupiter rules wealth, and Uranus is shocks and awe, and yeah. And he has that in his chart. So he's an example. I think we'll see more examples of people who are immensely wealthy and not acting in accordance how they should be, having some comeuppance. But we're also seeing amazing generosity with, like, this
Mhm.
woman gave to Albert Einstein. All the students get to go there for free for the rest of
Yes.
eternity. Jupiter educates, Jupiter rules universities and things like that. So there's been several in the collective of these really generous gifts, and that's part of the Jupiter Uranus conjunction as well. In Taurus, at 21 Taurus, so you can look at your chart and see how it's activating you.
Love that. Well, I got hit with a big tax bill, so
Oh,
right
Teresa!
on the cusp of the eighth house. So I'm like, oh, son of a gun. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was enough that I was like, darn it. So whatever. That's going to be my big excitement this weekend is paying taxes.
Oh,
So here's something that I want to ask you also. If the eclipse happens on or around your birthday, what do people need to know about that?
if it, yeah, that means that you are going to, well, a lunar eclipse means that around your birthday, so if your birthday is around March 25th, that there's going to be this like big story this coming year about relationships. And there may be an event on March 25th or right around there where something is illuminated to you. It depends what house in your chart it's in around this axis. But I think you're going to have a really active year if it's around your birthday, because the sun and the moon being that just says relationships are in focus. And it could be a relationship at work with your child, with your dog, with your mind. Like, there's a lot of different relations, your parents. Oh, dad needs help with this, that, and the other. It comes out of nowhere, it seems like, because they're wild cards. If it's the Aries, if it's a solar eclipse, that's on April 8th, there's going to be something new emerging in your life. So pay attention to what new starts happen in terms of how you feel about yourself. The solar eclipse is at 19 Aries, the lunar at 5 Libra. The solar eclipse is conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. So there are people who are born around April 8th, maybe having a lot of stuff coming up within you about, with the ability to heal some of those core wounds about the self. Aries
Hmm.
is about the self. Yeah. So really pay attention to what starts. If you feel called to get therapy, do it or come for an astrology reading. This, if you feel like something's really going on within you and you're born around that time, yeah,
Yeah.
talk about it. Hmm.
Often a good astrology reading cleans my head up. So, you folks, if you need to get clear, you might want to book a reading with Celeste after this. I know your calendar fills up quickly, so it's a good time to do that. Now, Black and Divine mentions something. Black and
Hmm.
Divine says, I'm 19 degrees Aries rising. So, we're going to talk about that when we get to talking about the solar eclipse, but I wanted to pin that. So, Black and Divine, I want you to hold that note. First thing I want to talk about, though, we have March. We've already been kind of alluding to the different eclipses, but let's talk about March 25th first. Let's just go into this. We're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, 5 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I hope I got that all correct. So, what that's going to be doing for us, like you said, it's clearing out things about relationships, correct?
Hmm. Yes, and the big thing about this lunar eclipse is that it's separating, but there's a Venus Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces. Yeah. And Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. It loves to be there. It's emotional, it's romantic. But Saturn, like, puts it in a container, brings some things to a reality. I'm wondering if when Venus meets Saturn, like Kate Middleton will say what's going on, or they'll release something about what's going on and it's separating. But people are going to be having things come to their conscious attention about their relationships that are reality rather than the fantasy. So, like, really pay attention to what's going on. And it could be your relationship with your finances, with your partner. There's a
Right.
lot of different relationships we have in our lives. And I'm so glad you said Black and Divine, because I call her Blue. So now I know the name, Black and Divine. I missed it without the symbol, the
It
vowels. Okay.
it took me a minute to figure it out too. Um, so I'm glad you brought up about the relationships too, that relationships aren't always just about romantic relationships. I think when people hear relationships, that's what they always assume, but the relationship can be like relationship with your money, relationship with your, parents or whatnot. So thank you for mentioning that because so often we always assume it has to be about romance.
Mm-mm.
So thank you. So if you have something 5 degrees Libra in your chart, you might be also feeling the impact of this full moon lunar eclipse on March 25th, correct?
Yes, yeah, and you're probably already feeling it now. Yeah, there's a lot of intensity. One of the things, just to step back into February, where we had Pluto go back into an Aquarius, and then for the
Right.
first time, Mercury, then Mars, then Venus all met Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and then Mars, Venus caught up with Mars, and they came together. So there is all this plutonic energy that's being unearthed, I think, within people. And Aquarius rules the collective. It's an air sign about our thought
Yep.
processes in the mind. And then last weekend was insane with Mercury met Neptune in Pisces, and then the Mars square Uranus. If you were impacted, like, some people just had nervous system dysregulation, some people had big fights, some people had awarenesses of things. It was a big thing last weekend. We saw, all sorts of people in the collective having to deal with stuff around that. Because Mars square Uranus is like, where it's like a bomb going off. Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
figurative bomb.
definitely. Like I said, my big excitement was the tax bill. So
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
stupid
that.
taxes. I know. I have a sense of humor about it. I'm like, well, at least I made them happy. So that would be the full moon lunar eclipse. Now, April 8th, we have a new moon eclipse, and this is going to be one that can be
Oh,
seen
oh,
across much of the US,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Wait.
Oh, I wanted to say another thing about the lunar. There's something very romantic about this lunar eclipse too.
Ooh.
Like, Jupiter is conjunct. Let me let me read it. Uh, Jupiter's Venus is conjunct the asteroid Cupido, and Jupiter's conjunct Eros. So there's a love
Ooh.
theme in this as well. So yeah, I want people to be
Yeah.
aware of that. And it made me self-love. It made me be cute. Like that's eclipses.
Well,
You just
Tyga 22 says, ooh la la.
hmm Yeah, I think it's
Well,
very. This is like great for like doing something if you're partnered, doing something like special with your sweetie, where you really bring in the love. I think this is a beautiful thing to do with this eclipse. Yeah, and I say you can change your life with a hello. So if you see someone and you try not to Libra, not say anything because you're so worried about rejection. And Aries have the audacity to say hello, smile.
make that move. Get bold. You know, I've got Aries in the seventh house cusp, so I'm very, very assertive when it comes to relationships, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always paid off well. Ain't nothing wrong with being an assertive woman. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so now let's talk about April 8th. So April 8th, we have this solar new moon. I want to make sure I say it all correctly. New moon eclipse, Aries, 19 degrees. It happens at 2:21 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be hooking up with that Sun Chiron conjunction. So this is big, and also this is an eclipse that can be seen over much of the US, so it's going to be visible. So I want to know what you think about the visibility. What does that mean for us? And what do you think about this Aries solar new moon eclipse?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. I'm a little I'm a little nervous about this one because when you're in the path of totality, there's
Yep.
going to be a story in the collective. Yeah, and like Aries at the simplest level, it's a fire sign. I don't know what's going on with the Texas fires, if that's kind of if that's been diminished or something. I know there's this huge storm going up over parts of the country. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's going to be a lot of stormy weather for the U.S. And it can be stormy with literal weather. It can be stormy with. I'm a little worried about this Chiron Kazemi because what happens when a planet goes Kazemi is it's invisible and
Hmm.
it goes into the heart of the sun and it can ask the sun, which is the king, for what it wants. And then we don't
Ooh.
know exactly what has happened until it moves away and we get some awareness, and we may not get awareness about what was seeded until closer to Jupiter Uranus on April 20th. So I'm just I'm just hoping there's not some kind of blackout or something.
Mm.
I've been saying to people, it's just a good idea. I don't want to fear monger, but I feel like sharing this is what I'm seeing. Like, think about this eclipse season. Mercury's also retrograde. Mercury rules communications. Like, what if you couldn't get to the store or like something for 2 weeks or something? Like, can you make sure you have enough stuff in your house that you could, you wouldn't be in a crisis? Maybe buy some bottled water. Maybe like make sure your gas tank is has at least half a tank in case you're in an area where something happens. Mm-hmm.
You know, that reminds me when the pandemic first hit, people were going to the grocery stores and clearing out the stores. And I was in there, I'm very chill because, first of all, we tend to have things on hand, you know, beans and rice and all that. And so I was going down the aisle by the beans and I saw some guy standing there, fancy clothes and stuff, in front of the beans, and he's staring at them. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, you don't even know what to do with this stuff. Get out of my way. You know, so it was really, really funny watching some of these people get what they thought were staples, but they didn't even know how to work with them. And I was like, what the hell? So if you're going to get staples, people, please make sure you know what to do with them. Beans and rice are wonderful, by the way. We had some excellent black bean and rice soup
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic. So good. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to make that
Yeah,
soon. But
that
anyhow,
sounds good.
enough about that. So Black and Divine mentioned that she has 19 degrees Aries rising. So that means that this solar new moon eclipse is going to land directly on her ascendant. So what does she need to know about that?
the ascendant is the self, the identity, the physical body. I would ask where you have Mars in your chart, what house it's in, what aspects it's making. That's something for you to be thinking about as well, about where the story may show up, about how you want to create something new in your life. May just be about how you're perceived. Maybe decide to take on a new workout routine. That's Aries. Yeah, or decide to enter some kind of competition. That's Aries. Um, yeah. And it could be like a spelling bee. It just came to me like if you had Mars and Gemini. Yeah. Yeah. So think about really, really notice what comes to your conscious attention. It could be about healing. Now, with Chiron there, I want you to be extra mindful to get enough rest, like whatever you can do for your immune system to give it a little boost, because Chiron is the wounded healer. So I'm getting that. I'm thinking it's just like an internal healing for you. But whenever our ascendant or our sixth house is eclipsed, if anything comes up, we just go to the doctor and get it taken care of. Um,
Well, I got to tell you, when I had an eclipse land on my ascendant many years ago, and a lot of great things happened for my career after that eclipse happened on my ascendant. So it's very possible it could be doing something to help you become more public in your work. It might open up the door for, remember, it's a new moon. It could be a new phase also with your career and how you're presenting yourself to the world. And I love
mhm.
what you said also about healing. Yeah, with that Chiron there, it's possible, Black and Divine, you may have some healing taking place, maybe even healing about, how you feel about presenting yourself with the world. That could be another way of looking at that.
That's what I
So
think it
super
is. Yeah.
cool.
And
Hmm.
it's going to amp up your inner courage. I think that's what's going to
Oh,
happen.
I like that. Inner courage. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh,
what are some of the things people can do to prepare for the eclipse?
oh, Katie Witchy Poo says she has Mars and Cancer at 19 degrees. So
Oh,
Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra are the cardinal signs. So if you have any planets at 19, those are being impacted. If it's Libra, it may be a story about someone else outside of yourself, but 19 Cancer, that's a square. So Cancer and Capricorn, it's a square. So really notice, Katie Poo, Mars is a planet of action, drive, and assertion.
mm-hmm.
This is recommendations for everyone, but really watch your emotional. I think you need to get grounded because you may be having stuff come up within you that if you're not like being conscious about, oh, I'm feeling frustrated about this. Oh, this is irritating me. Oh, I'm angry about this. Oh, I have this deep desire to achieve success with this. Like you could have like a little like kind of outburst energy is what I'm feeling with that. So just be present about what's
Mm-hmm.
going on within you. And I think that's important for
Yep.
everyone. This eclipses are kind of destabilizing.
Yep.
There's like all this intensity. We had a sun square Uranus at not this last new moon, but the new moon before. And woo, yeah, it's Uranus is like that electrical energy. It's the lightning strike. It can be just like downloads, but it can also make your nervous system feel dysregulated. So I think whatever you can do to get grounded, in touch with your intuition, do your daily tarot card pulls about what you
Yep.
need to know today. This is a way to prepare for the eclipse.
And Jelly Jelly Bowbelly says the April eclipse will be in a wide square with my cat moon. I'm going to stay home and have a self-care day. That's a wise idea. And
Hmm.
also, one thing I will say though, around eclipses, it is important to stay hydrated, to rest more, to not
Yes.
make major decisions until the moon dust has settled. Kind of let things play out and don't try to like hold on too tightly, because whatever is changing, you want to keep an open mind as much as possible.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I'm looking
Especially
at
with Mercury retrograde
that's.
too. I would not make I would not make snap decisions around this series of eclipses, especially the second one.
Hmm. Exactly. Yes. Mercury is retrograde. It's retrograde April 1st through 25th, I believe. But I swear, Theresa, the minute Mercury went into Aries, I feel like the retrogrades already started. Like, because Mercury met Neptune and then went into Aries,
Yes.
just a couple degrees later. And the next day, and I feel like that Neptunian energy is so activated. The the actual pre-shadow starts on Monday, I believe, but pretend like it's already started. We are having a Mercury retrograde. So think about not buying electronics or making any big decisions or entering into contracts unless you have to. Uh, don't get elective surgery. Yeah, especially not beauty surgery with a Libra eclipse coming up. Yeah, these are some of the things that just came to me about that.
Yeah, that facelift can wait. It can wait, y'all.
Definitely cancel your appointment, reschedule, and do not do
And the other thing I would say, please back up your computers and your
it.
websites. Please back up your computer and your website. Please back up your computer and your website. I always add the website because people don't think about it, but if you ever lose your website, you'll wish you had it backed up. So please make sure y'all take care of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that
Um,
reminder. I need to do that myself.
oh,
My
I'm like
website.
a backup fanatic. And Mercury is going to be retrograde in Aries, y'all, in Aries. So I would also say we want to watch our impulse. Watch that.
Yeah, watch out for big. Yeah, yeah, impulsive, reckless. These are all shadow Aries energies. Slow down. Drive carefully. There's
Yes,
probably going to be like traffic snarling, traffic accidents. I think there's going to be, what's going on um, in Gaza is coming to a head where people are going to be taking more and more action. So there may be like a lot of people blocking roads. I think that was part of the last Mercury retrograde, blocking roads. In San Francisco, we had protesters at the
right.
airport demanding a ceasefire. So that is going to be very amplified. I'm really concerned about the New York subway system, but the National Guard there. So if you feel like things are just trust your spidey senses. Like I wrote, like if you're going down to the subway and you see the National Guard and people like the temperature rising, just go back up and walk a block and go in another subway station kind of thing is what I'm suggesting. Just watch
Always
out
good to be vigilant.
the big crowds. If you're around big crowds, there could be with Mercury retrograde, a solar eclipse in Aries, like two people just get into a skirmish about like nothing, and it turns into like
Right.
some big yelling, screaming match. So just be aware of that and try to
Right
like
on.
ground yourself and not get dragged into senseless arguments. Pick your battles.
Amen. That is great advice. Kekapur says, hibernation sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. It sounds good to me too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Celeste, do you want to do some dueling tarot,
Yes.
oracle? So we're gonna do card readings for every sign of the zodiac. I'm gonna use the Wiser Tarot. This is going to be your eclipse guidance from Celeste and I. So I'm gonna give my card. What deck are you using?
I'm going to use the Human Spirit Oracle, Learning to
Ooh,
Reconnect by Jenna De La Grottaglia. This is a rock pool deck.
Rockpool. Can I just tell you, Rockpool makes some beautiful decks. I love their decks. They're high quality. Betty is here, but Betty doesn't want to interfere. This is Celeste time, not Betty time, y'all.
Hi, Betty.
Oh my God, that goat. All right, give me a minute to get these cards out. Oh my God, Celeste, I'm so glad I'm feeling better enough to hang with you today.
I'm so glad you are too, Theresa. I
I
love our
hate being
time
sick.
together.
So do I.
Mm,
Ooh, my cards are
me too. I'm
spicy
a big
and ready.
baby when I'm sick.
Oh, here's the thing for me. When I'm sick, I'm kind of like a wounded animal. I want to be left alone for the most
Mhm,
part.
mhm.
And I haven't been sick in a long time because we live like recluses now. And, it was just one of those things. It was the perfect the perfect storm for me to pick something up. Oh my God, it was awful. So hopefully in another day or two, all this will be out of my lungs because I hate
Mm-hmm.
coughing. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of tea.
Yeah, with Saturn and Pisces, people with mutable mutable energy are really feeling that. Hmm.
Well, I'm in my second Saturn return also, and it's been
Oh,
kicking my ass.
yeah. Saturn
Kicking
does.
my ass.
Saturn does like to test us.
I mean, here's the thing with a second Saturn return. I'm like, oh, good, this will be good for my career, and I'm thinking all this stuff. This second Saturn return,
Which house do you have
mm,
Saturn in?
the fifth house, and it's locked into
Mm.
a T square with my Sun and my Mercury and Mars.
Ooh. Mm.
Not liking it. All
Mm.
right, Aries. Let me know when you're ready, Celeste.
I'm ready.
All right, so Aries, this is what you need to know about eclipse season. We have the Six of Wands. There are new levels opening up for you. So it feels like this eclipse is going to move some obstacles out of the way and put you back in the driver's seat. Now, remember what Celeste said about being brave and courageous? You really do need to be courageous and you need to trust that the universe is working in your favor because it is. So for Aries, this eclipse is a game changer because it puts you back in the game and back in the saddle.
Yes, and I pulled fishbowl. So this is
Ooh.
about like if you're living your life, are you in a fishbowl looking out at everyone's what's going on, wanting to expand, but holding yourself back with fear. Have the courage to jump in and go for it. I love it with the victory card. Yes, this is like take the risk and success can come.
You got this, Aries.
Yes.
All right, Taurus, where are the beautiful Taurus folks? Taurus, the Two of Swords says in this eclipse season, you need to take some time to yourself. You need to rest. You need to just sit back a little bit. If you are giving yourself permission to opt out, to take a cosmic time out, you're going to be moving through this eclipse season without it even affecting you. Out of sight, out of mind. So slow down. Time out, time out, time out, and you're going to be just fine. Look at the moon in the background. It does look kind of like a little eclipse happening back there.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus, rest, time out. That's your strategy.
Yes, that's for me. Yes. And I pulled the Midas touch
Ooh,
upside down. So I think for Taurus, with the Jupiter Uranus conjunction in Taurus, like there's energy to turn lead into gold. But you need to be discerning about what you put your energy into. And this eclipse will be in your 12th house because Aries, if you like to put Taurus on the ascendant, Aries is in the 12th house, and that's about the resting that Theresa's
mm,
mentioning. So,
mm.
in order to make these things come to life, sometimes we have to take a step back, rest, refocus, and be discerning on what we put our energy into, because there's a lot of great
Michelle,
energy for Taurus. Hmm.
it is. And Michelle DeMarco says, don't get near those swords because we will use them. All right, Geminis, the Two of Cups. Now, remember what Celeste said about relationships. This eclipse season is actually going to be very good for your relationships. It's going to help you to come together and make compromises, which is very Libra. It can help heal certain relationships, and it can also help you to come to an understanding. Maybe there's certain relationships that are not meant to be in your orbit any longer, and the eclipse is going to help you to see what needs to be done so you can get back on track, or you can again find a compromise, or find maybe even some new love. So this could be an awesome time for Geminis when it comes to your relationships. The eclipse is going to clean it out, heal it, and bring you together in healthier ways.
Yes.
Love
And I
that.
pulled Baby I'm a Star. Look at that. So
Ooh.
for Geminis, I want you to really think about what you want to partner with, like that Two of Cups card, because Jupiter is coming into your sign on May 25th, and that's going to amplify whatever is going on in your Gemini house. And yeah, and oh, Aries. Oh, that's third house. Okay, I'm trying to think of where it is. But anyway, I think you should, yeah, think about what you want to put your attention on and focus, because you are going to shine bright with that Jupiter if you're intentional.
Also, Gemini, it's not a bad time to get a little social too. If you've been
Yes.
hibernating, maybe get out and have some fun.
Yeah, I think that's about that too. Yes.
All right, next up, Cancer. Cancer, the Four of Cups says this eclipse is going to reveal what you don't want. It's going to reveal the things you no longer want to accept in your life. And now here's the thing, Cancer. Cancers are sensitive. Cancers want to take care of everybody, often to their own detriment. But this eclipse season is coming along to say nope. So you're going to get real clarity on boundaries. You're going to get clarity on what you won't put up with. And this is going to be a good time to flex those boundaries, to practice them. Because the more you practice, the better you get at it. So expect a lot of clarity about what you won't or will put up with.
Mm-hmm. And I pulled Forever Young upside down. And
Ooh.
this to me, just intuitively, is about letting go of the appearances for Cancer. Yeah. Really think about why you're doing what you're doing, and then be discerning with the Four of Cups about letting things go. And is it just about that looking good rather than really authentic, is what I'm getting.
I also
Uh,
have a feeling that some cancers might be receiving a surprise opportunity. So if you think
mm,
things are kind of boring, keep it. Remember, eclipses can bring surprises.
mhm.
So something might show up for some of you cancers where it's like, oh my God, I didn't expect this, and maybe I need to go for that. All right, sexy Leos. Ooh, speaking of sexy Leo, the Empress. First of all, Leo, this this eclipse season is going to be good for pampering yourself. Maybe that means, going to a spa. Maybe that means eating all the chocolates or spending the day in bed reading every book that's on your bookshelf. This is going to be a good time for that. Also, for Leos, this card is all about our passion. So, what are you passionate about? What is something you really want to do? The eclipse is going to allow you to indulge in your passions. And I got to tell you, that's going to feel good. Leo is a passionate sign, and when they're doing the things that really fire them up, they are in their element. So, I think for Leos, this eclipse season is going to be fire. It is going to be fabulous. And you are going to be at your fabulous, sexiest best.
Mm. And I pulled
Whoop,
Any
whoop,
Way the
Leo.
Wind Blows, but upside down. Leo's a fixed sign, and I think it's a call to maybe be a little bit more flexible. Yeah, like in your partnerships. That's what I'm getting with this. Be a little bit more flexible, like especially if you're with someone who has mutable energy, they will really appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
Right on. I have a very mutable chart. My daughter's is all fixed. We've had to learn to like navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Virgos. Ooh, Virgo, we got the Emperor. And so this means for you, Virgos, this eclipse season brings divine order. If there are things in your life that felt really out of sorts, maybe you felt out of sorts, you're going to feel like there's some kind of a cleansing taking place, and suddenly everything boom, boom, boom starts to line up for you. Now, that's not without you doing something because the emperor does the work. The emperor is disciplined. And so I have a feeling that when it comes to this eclipse season, it's also going to reveal what you need to do to get order in your life. So a lot of things are beginning to straighten out, but more importantly, you're going to see exactly what you need to do.
Mm. And I pulled Broken Open. I think this is a little bit more about Mercury retrograde because it's in the sign of Aries around the self. So you may be coming to your conscious awareness some things like with Saturn, like with Saturn opposite you. Mm-hmm. That and let yourself be broken open a little bit and maybe do some journaling, Virgo. It's all for your highest good, what's coming up within you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to be always in control, Virgo,
Yes,
although
release
you like it.
control. Yeah, really, because Mercury rules the sign of Virgo. So really pay attention this Mercury retrograde, what's going on. And don't
And it's
rush around or multitask.
Right. It's interesting that you're bringing up about Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is in Aries, and the Emperor's associated with Aries.
Mm.
Watch out for that inner control freak, Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Libra. Now we know the eclipse is hitting you, and you're going to feel it. This eclipse season is going to bring a lot of challenges. There are people coming at you from every way till the end of time. It's going to feel like it. So you're going to be experiencing a lot of challenges to your relationships. And the big thing here is boundaries. Are you setting healthy boundaries? Are you being a doormat? Are you allowing people to, impose on you? Are you allowing people to push you around? Are you on the internet letting people boss you around and bully you? Boundaries. Libra, your
Mm-hmm.
boundaries are going to be tested. So I want Libras putting on their game face and being hardcore because you're going to need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I pulled Unlock Your Mind upside down. Yeah, this is like there's this is feel like there's the same as the other card, like some kind of inner chaos. And it's like we are human, and with this comes life lessons, new thoughts, evolutions of humanity, and change. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be for Libra about like some kind of dynamic between you and another, and it's going to involve opening your mind through conflict and having a new evolution for your highest good. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Scorpio, Three of Cups. Look at that, Scorpio. So the eclipse is going to be actually really awesome for you. First of all, you may find yourself getting more fun into your life, or there might be new relationships coming into your life. You might find your circle of friends. Maybe that opens up. There's new people coming in. So it really feels like for Scorpios, there's a harvest. There might be more money coming in. I just see fun. I see friendship. I see a circle. I see again harvest and money. So Scorpio, I think the eclipse is going to be pretty nice to you. And so I would say welcome in friends, welcome in abundance, welcome in playtime, Scorpio. You see that, Rebecca? See that jelly jelly bow belly? Scorpios, this eclipse season is about you enjoying your life to the fullest and welcoming in all the good things. So welcome in the good things.
And I pulled no strings attached. No, can you just have fun? Can you just like date without having to have it be we're getting married? Like don't show up to the second date with a U-Haul. It's what came to me. Like, yeah, just like allow a little bit more like fun and freedom and not knowing the destination and just experiencing the beauty and the joy of the things. That's what I get.
I'm loving that. Bear with me with this coughing,
Oh,
y'all.
yeah. Oh,
It's
no worries. Yeah, I
so
know.
for Sagittarius, we got the moon, and that means there are some issues in your life right now that maybe you feel like you're kind of in the dark. Like some things are not clear, and they're probably not going to get clear until after the eclipse is over. So I would say when it comes to the eclipse, you're navigating by your instincts.
Mm.
You're going to have to kind of go with the flow, feel what you're feeling, don't take anything at face value. Be cautious. The more mindful you are, the less likely you're going to make decisions that you later on regret. So don't do anything impulsive. Remember, Celeste warned about being impulsive. Sagittarius do tend to be impulsive by nature. And this card is saying, not during this eclipse season. For Sag, it's better to be cautious and again, listen to your instincts because nothing is clear. Not until after the eclipse is over.
Mm, yeah. So I pulled the wallflower card upside down. So for Sagittarius, and look, she's got her mouth like Sagittarius shadow is foot and mouth disease. So I'm just getting that this is about, yeah, watch the impulsivity. It's going to be ramped up with because it's a fire sign and the solar eclipse is in a trine. So just and Mercury retrograde. Just like practice the pause before you open your mouth for Sagittarius. I think it'll be great. Mm-hmm.
Tyga says she's going to be hiding. Capricorns, wow, Ace of Cups. Now, I got to tell you, Capricorns is going to feel like you're getting an emotional reset. Remember, you're a cardinal sign, so you're going to be feeling these eclipses directly. But for you, it's going to clear it's going to clear your heart center. I hope it clears my lungs. But I'm not a Capricorn. But it really does feel like for a lot of Capricorns, Capricorns tend to be very serious, et cetera, et cetera. But this really clears energy. It clears emotional energy. It opens you up to new love, new creative projects, new deeper connections, maybe even a healthier relationship with yourself. So Capricorn, I love this eclipse season for you. I don't look at all this cardinal action as being a negative. For you, it is going to give you a fresh emotional start with the possibility of love and again, new creative projects. Great energy for Capricorn.
I pulled head over heels. This sure looks like someone falling in love. And yeah, what are you in love? What can you thrust yourself, be excited about, and fall in love with? It could be a person, it could be a project, it could be a new pet, it could be a lot of things. But yeah, Capricorn, take a little time off of work, feel the love for a fresh new start. Mm-hmm.
Maybe Capricorn also, you're ready to fall in love with your life.
Ah.
I like that too. All right, Aquarius friends, Seven of Swords. So this eclipse season is going to pull some tricks. They're not going to be treats, though. There might be some things coming to light that you're not liking. Maybe somebody that you thought was a friend isn't really a friend. Or maybe a situation that you thought was a sure bet turns out not to be a sure bet. So I would say for Aquariuses, make sure you are paying attention. When it comes to situations, things can go sideways very fast with this eclipse with this eclipse season. But if you are aware, you're going to get out in the nick of time. You're going to see the bullshit and you're going to get out in the nick of time. So, Aquarius, alert, alert, alert. Stay alert.
Yeah, I pulled bound for boundaries upside down. And so this to me feels like someone like tromping on your boundaries, and that you're going to have to, yeah, you're going to have to be aware, be extra careful about cyber stuff. Like they're getting
Yes.
so creative and tricking people with like these phone calls where it sounds like your loved one in trouble and all of that kind of stuff. So be really careful about all of that cyber stuff.
Well, I got to tell you, my aunt who's 100 years old, they tried that on her. And you can't fool her. She is sharp. She said, "You're not my
Mm-hmm.
grandson. You're a scammer." Hung right up on them.
Uh-huh.
And I
Oh,
love that.
wow.
So, yeah, she picked up on it right away.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pisces. This eclipse season looks really lovely. The Six of Cups says it is an opportunity to connect with the people you love. It is an opportunity for you to be with friends and family. It is an opportunity to make peace with the past. Oftentimes, this card has a lot to do with the past. And I just see this really gentle, loving, the energy feels like a warm, cozy blanket around
Mm-hmm.
Pisces. So, Pisces, family, friends, making peace with the past, maybe even reconnecting to folks you haven't talked to in a long time. The eclipse could bring some people back from the past, but not that gross ex. I'm talking people you actually want to see. So this feels really like a lovely eclipse season for Pisces.
Ah, yes. And I pulled support system upside down. So this, like to me, brings a return of that that Six of Cups energy. And I'm getting like Pisces, you don't always need to be the giver. Let let someone else be the giver and support you if you need it. Definitely reach out to someone if you're feeling with Saturn in your sign, feeling a little separate or lost or anything. Yeah, that's what I'm getting for that.
Mhm. And let's pull one for the collective.
Yes.
And so I got the Ten of Wands, and that means that this eclipse is going to reveal what kind of work needs to be done in order to resolve things. Also, some leaders are going to be feeling the pressure, and they're going to feel like I've got to do something now because the pressure is really mounting. So it might be a good time to put pressure on your representatives. If there's things you don't like that are going, whatever, that are going out there in the world, then you need to put the pressure on because that's going to be the way to get them to bend.
Mm. I pulled, and you know, their phones are ringing off the hook with the TikTok decision. Yes, they are.
Right?
I pulled Cry for the Moon. This is really interesting
Ooh.
with three little kids. Cry for the Moon. So this is like about being uh, uh, this is a big eclipse season. Like I see the Ten of Wands as putting your burdens down, slowing down, going internal. Um, yeah, let me see if this says anything else that gives me a jogs my intuition. Have you heard the moon could you make you do crazy things? Yeah,
How
yeah.
interesting you pulled that for the collective with eclipse season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these eclipses are going to be big. So just lighten your schedule as much as you can. Like not everyone can with putting your burdens down, being present, slowing down, going within. I think that's the message for all of us. Yeah, rushing around and multitasking is just you know, it can be a disaster whether you trip and fall or whether like something is a failure. Like practice, pretend you're a Taurus during this eclipse season. Take things slow.
Exactly. I would also say too with that moon card, there's probably gonna be some world leaders who are acting real crazy during this eclipse season. Pay
Mm,
attention. Pay
yes.
attention.
Well, this is like to me, this is March 25th. I think something big is going down March 25th at the lunar eclipse because the United States has a new moon in Pisces on that day. So to me,
Wow.
that's like something's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm A
All
progressive
right,
new moon, I should say. A
right.
progressive.
Thank you for
hmm
clarifying that. I knew what you meant, but just in case someone else
hmm
did.
Yeah.
Progress new moon. All
hmm
right. Well, that is our presentation for you all on how to navigate eclipse season. I do hope the information that we have provided has been very helpful. And don't forget, please follow Celeste if you need an astrology reading. If you need an astrology reading to figure out this eclipse season, Celeste is one that you definitely want to go to. So, Celeste, where can they find you online
Yeah. So
besides here?
I am Astrology by Celeste everywhere on the socials. My website's astrologybyceleste.com. I have a podcast, the Celestial Insights Podcast, that's intended to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. It's available everywhere.
Well, Celeste, it's always a delight. I like any excuse to hang out with you, even if I'm coughing up a lung. I'm just really grateful that we had time today. I love learning from you. I always soak up your wisdom, and so I feel like I'm really ready for this eclipse season, even better than I thought I was. So, thank you for sharing all of your
Thank
tips and all of your guidance, and just for hanging with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Theresa, and get some rest. I hope you feel better soon. Thank you so much for everything you do. Yeah, follow Theresa if you're new to her. And if you could, allow me to collaborate, and I'll put it on my wall. Oh, how did you do that? Does it, do
You
you have,
just put your,
I
do
don't
you have
know.
an iPhone?
Oh,
There you go.
that's
Isn't
new
that
to
fun?
me. That is fun. Thank you so much. I don't like the thumbs up that they do, but I love that. That's so
Oh
beautiful.
yeah,
What is it?
try doing this once. Let's see if this works.
Oh my God. I love it. Okay, Theresa, you get your rest.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us.
Take good
Mwah.
one. Love you. Bye.